Hi, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And welcome to the podcast. We're glad you're here with us today. So,
Yes,
we're going to I'm excited about this episode today because this topic is one that it was like an idea kind of in the back of my head, but I hadn't really put it so clearly. And then I read Jamie Kern Lima's book, Believe It, and there's this chapter in there, but I went, oh, this is exactly it. So we're sharing you the exactly it today.
okay, exactly it.
So the concept of, the influence that the 5 people that you hang around with the most, that's not a new concept.
Is that like it is to me? Do you only have 5 people that you hang around, or
no,
like
no,
is that like
no.
a study that they found people have 5 people?
No. The studies are that the 5 people that you hang around with the most, you're most likely to be about the same financial level as them, the same, like so many similarities. The 5 people that you are with the most, attitudes, things like that. Those are really key people, because that's kind of like, if you want to be in a different social circle, obviously your 5 closest friends are going to impact that. So if you want to be in a different social circle, you have to break away in one way from those friends and get into a different place, or you're not going to get in the social circle. Or financially, if you want to be in a different income bracket, then if hanging around with people who have this attitude about money is not going to get you to here. You have to be hanging around mindful of people that are where you want to be, how you want to be, that kind of thing. Because the 5 closest people have a huge impact on you. If you want to be a very, very kind person, and the people you hang around with, 5 closest people, are very catty and unkind.
Well,
so
I don't excuse me. I don't like that. I don't like the you need to hang around different social brackets to be socially.
If that's what you want.
I know that's not a foolproof plan, though. Which is one of the problems of being an executive assistant, actually, is because the people that you meet are all at this level and you're getting paid at this level. And so they expect you to do this level things and your income's like at this level. So
yeah, I'm just saying, this is what, if that's what you want, what you're deciding what you want, the 5 closest people to you have a huge impact on that. And my son is a part of this real estate thing, and they're talking about
a real estate empire. Her son's
the
head of a real estate empire.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I need to hang around him more.
But he was listening to this guy who is the one who puts this all together, and he's like, makes all kinds of money, blah blah blah. But this guy was doing on his podcast, was talking to somebody. He takes calls, and the guy was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, and this is what like, he had these big plans in real estate that this like empire that he wanted to build, this guy. And but he's like, okay, well, where do you live? And he told him, I remember somewhere.
Wait, Steve?
No, this is the guy who, I can't remember his name. Pace Morby is his name. I remember.
What's his name?
Pace Morby.
Okay.
So his show, this guy calls in to Pace, and he says, he's like, okay, well, where do you live? And he tells him, and it's a town in Texas that I've heard of, but it's not like Dallas or Houston or whatever. It's a smaller place. And he's like, you need to move. He's like, well, what do you mean I need to move? Because the things that you want are not available where you are. So if you want this, you need to move. He goes, and what do your buddies do on the weekend? What do your friends do on the weekend? He goes, well, we do this, and then, sports, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you're not going to have time for that. And it's like, if this is what you want, then this is what you need to do. If it's not what you want, then it's like, you can't have both of those 2 things.
You can't have friends and you can't go here, your friends can't be,
Well-
I got friends in low places. Like,
I mean, it sounds terrible.
it does sound terrible.
But, no,
It does
the thing-
sound terrible. I
But-
guess as one who has been friends with all levels of
Yeah.
people, who has the friend whose mother has a chateau in the south of France, not even lying,
Mhm.
and like
Mhm.
people who are on limited,
Mhm.
vastly limited
Uh-huh.
incomes.
Yeah. But they're not your 5 closest friends.
Well, one of them was.
One of, and there probably were other things that they were your friend because of, that you, anyway.
We
but that's
scuba
it.
dove together.
Yeah, so you had that, and so it's it really is just about recognizing the influence that you're putting yourself in. If I want to be a if I wanted to be a world-class, world-renowned opera singer, I would not be able to live here. where I live.
No, well, yeah, no, that's
And
just
so-
common sense.
Yeah, but that's this kind of, it's like, if this is what you want, this is what it takes to have that. And so
So-
understand what you're wanting.
So financially, I was so much better off in the Bay Area than I am here, which is a financially depressed area compared to the Bay Area. So maybe my financials will improve if I move back to the Bay Area. I mean, I guess probably.
Yeah.
So I moved here, my finances crashed. Well, yeah.
That wasn't the only thing.
Now I know why. I need to find 5 different people.
Being a writer and having AI doing a lot more writing has had a little to do with that.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
so anyway.
Yeah, I don't like
so
it. I still don't like it.
You don't have to like it, but the reality is the 5 closest people to you have a huge impact on you.
Get the hints then.
Oh, you're getting rid of me now. Next week I will have a
Mhm.
new partner in this.
I know, because I know,
She's
I'm
just
not
decided
getting
to
rid of you.
ditch me.
I'm not
She's decided
getting
to
rid
ditch
of
me.
you because I don't buy it. I don't buy into that, but all right.
Anyway. Going on with the influence of people.
Okay,
There
sorry.
was whether you believe the 5 closest people there or not, you cannot deny that people influence you.
Of course, yeah.
So
Don't think, I mean, you have opportunities in bigger cities that you're not gonna have in a small rural area. That's all there is to it. So, I mean, I agree on all of that. I don't like the 5 closest people determine your income and I just don't,
no, it's not that they determine it.
well, it feels.
It's
felt
that,
bad.
no, it's not that they get to choose it. It's that you put yourself in places that are in alignment with what you want. And if you really want something different, then you're going to put yourself in a different place. If you say that you want something different, but you're staying in the same place, then what you really want is to stay in the same place. So it's not like you're doing all the choosing. You're doing all the choosing. But anyway, people influencing us. This is a delicate thing, because for the sake of mental health, sometimes there are people that we need to just remove ourselves from.
Yeah.
And
No, I
sometimes
buy all that.
for physical
Mhm.
and mental safety, sometimes there are people we need to remove from. But I have not been comfortable with how I feel like sometimes unnecessarily people are just like, oh, I don't like you're saying.
Oh, I don't like what you're saying now.
And yeah, so it's like that. So how do you keep people in your life? It's not like your family is always going to be perfectly good to you. There are people who have very dysfunctional families.
I just saw the bear episode. Season 2, episode 6. It's all about his family. Holy cow. It was probably one of the best produced, best directed, best acted program I've ever seen. But it's all about his very dysfunctional family and the dysfunction that goes on. But it's probably one of the best, like the way they build
Depictions.
all of it. It was just amazing.
Wow.
I just saw it last night.
So sometimes we do need to cut ties, but often our families are families, And there are people that we either just, how to keep somebody in our life and still keep healthy, and so when I came across this in Jamie's book, this concept of that everybody has a microphone. When I saw the title of the chapter, that's not the title, but something, having to do with our microphone. I thought, oh, yes, we all have things that we say, da, 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 da. It's like, it's not that at all. It's, here's my microphone. In essence, my life is my show. I get to take this microphone and go, here, I'm going to give my microphone to you so that you can speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we have control over who we give our microphone to. And I thought, yes, amen. On board with that. How empowering is that?
Yeah.
But not only that, but in situations like with a family or a close friend that we, for whatever reason, we don't feel inclined to just go, cutting you out of my life, can't do you. Or maybe that's not the right choice to make. But how do we still keep them in our life? And it's like, you take your microphone away from them. You're still allowed to be in my life, but I'm not giving you the mic. Or in certain ways, certain areas that they're talking about, you just turn down the volume.
So
I'm not
like
gonna listen
literally
to-
just like, not literally turn down the volume, but literally just stop listening to them? Or like, how do you take your mic back?
You take it.
Because it's a metaphor, right? So
yeah.
how do you metaphorically take it? You can't go,
No, it's
Joan,
literal. I walk around the microphone all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, you go, well, the example that she uses in her book is when she was, she grew up in a small town and she wanted to go away to college. But she had a job where she was making good money. She was actually got to the point where she was making more than her dad was making. And she talked to her dad and said, you know what, she was saving money. She said, I want to go to college. And he's like, why do you want to do that? Don't do that. You're making so much money.
Mhm.
And so he was very well intentioned. It's
Yeah.
not like he was trying to sabotage her or anything, but from his perspective and his money struggles that he had, he saw the amount of money she was making and thought, you can't walk away from that.
Mhm.
And so she thought, no, he's not the person that I can listen to about that. And
Mhm.
turned the volume down. Loves her dad,
Yeah.
Obviously kept him in her life, but on that topic, turn the volume down.
You just
Ignore
them.
Mentally, not necessarily, let your dad talk about it if he wants to talk about it,
Mhm.
but you don't have to go, oh yes, I need to listen and
Yeah.
heed his advice. You can just, and we can choose, like in my circle of friends, I think of who do I go to for what? And sometimes it can be frustrating, but it's, I'll tell you, when we were looking for houses, when we ended up in this house, that when we looked for years because we were fine where we were and just like when the right thing comes along.
Mhm.
So I would go out if I ever came across something that I thought was an interesting property. I would go out, I would look at it. And if I thought it was just something that my husband might be interested too, I'd say, okay, let's get with the realtor again and we'll go back together. And so I remember very clearly one of the first houses that we actually looked at together. I went and looked at it, I'm like, okay. And then I told my husband, I said, I think you'll want to see this one. This has some potential. So I contacted the realtor, who is a friend of ours, and we went to this house. And while no, not this house, it was a different one. And while I was going, see, and it has this and this and this, and we could work this way, my husband's going, nope, no, this, and literally pointing out all the problems.
You see all the like possibilities, like we can remove this wall and this thing, and yeah.
And I remember I said to our realtor, I said, you're going to find that this is the process. Everywhere we go, I'm going to go, oh, yes. And he's going to go, no.
Mhm.
And while I know that that's frustrating for me on my end, it's like, why do I just be so negative about things? And he, on his end, it's like, why do I always have to be overly optimistic about things? And so it's not always comfortable, but I always know that we're a very good balance for each other. And so there are things that I intentionally, if I feel like, oh, I'm kind of going off in my fantasy world, I need to be grounded, I will talk to him. Because when my mother, when she was alive, she is not that person for me. If I would go to her, it didn't matter how crazy the idea was. She's like, yes, of course you can do it. And so it's like knowing who you're talking to, knowing who you're talking to and having, it's like, okay, Mom, I need encouraging. Here's the microphone, talk, I need grounding. Here, husband, here's the microphone, talk, know? And so it's like knowing knowing what people do in your life and knowing what you can do for them. And so controlling that microphone and being able to go, you know what, no, I'm not going to listen to you on that. Because there are other times where, when my husband's pointing out the logical, practical, whatever, it's like, that's not what's needed right here. What's needed right here is let the dream fly, then that's not who I go to for that. So it's just looking at your people, and especially your 5 closest people. What are they doing? And even if they are your very dearest people, like my mom and my husband, that doesn't mean that you're going to listen to everything they say on every topic. We don't have to.
Yeah.
And so it's like this beautiful way to be able to put up boundaries, but also, let people in. It's just.
Yeah, boundaries. Boundaries are always a thing.
Yeah, and boundaries are not always, I cannot have you in my life.
Yeah.
You are not good for me. This is not healthy. Out of here. There are some people who we may need to turn down the microphone a lot and not give it to them very often at all.
Yeah.
But we don't have to cut them out.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So there we go. So when we think about, when you need the encouragement, or when you need the grounding, or when you need comfort, or when you need somebody who's just going to talk to you straight, tough love, knowing who you're going, okay, you're super compassionate here. I'm giving you the mic right now because what I need is somebody to tell me it's going to be okay. Or somebody else I might give the microphone to for, would you just knock it off? You're being ridiculous here. You're so full of yourself. Get over it. And you got to know who's going to say that to you because not everybody will.
Yeah. It's good to have different friends like that, though. Yeah. I think everybody kind of does.
I was part of a writers group and bless them. They were so nice and they gave, some helpful feedback, but many of them in the group were too nice. And so there were a couple of them in the group that I knew if I really wanted somebody to just go, okay, yeah, it's fine, but, and let me know. I would send it to them for critique, the things I was writing, I send it to them for critique. And it's like, I'm not sending it to you because you're going to go, oh, this is good, which is nice to know, but just be completely soft on any kind of critique. It's like, so there are times when it's like, you just need to, so knowing that. Knowing that.
It's funny. I gave my brother some news that I knew he was going to be super happy about, something he wanted in a really long time. And I gave it to him and he was excited for about maybe 15 seconds. And then he's like, this problem and this problem and this problem. And then he like went into depth about each problem, which is not like him exactly. And I said, Tom, I'm glad I told you. I'm glad you were the first person I told. Now I don't even want to do it. So anyway, yeah. That made me realize I think he's very depressed.
Oh.
That's what I thought. I was like, what kind of depressed person takes great news and turns it into nothing but problems?
Yeah, in a situation like that, you can go, okay, with his first excitement part, the excitement is what you need to hear. You take that part in, you take the rest of it, and you turn down the volume for your life, but then you also go, like you did, there's something going on with him.
Yeah.
And so you take that and use it for that kind of information, not like, oh, all of these negatives, I need to listen to that for how they affect me. It's like, no, I need to listen to the negatives, but because they're a clue of what's going on with him.
Yeah.
And so you go up on the volume of the encouraging part, down on the volume of the, like the whole mixer board, down on the volume of the negative, except for up on the volume of the negative as it's going from me to him, because that's like teaching me where he is and giving me information that I can maybe use to help him or just keep an eye on him or whatever.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. Yeah, I like the idea of the mixer board.
Yeah. And two, it doesn't even have to be somebody in real life. I mean, if you need somebody, if you are, if you're a person who has people around you who are like mostly nothing but sunshine and roses and what you need is some straight talk, you can find a mentor somewhere else. It can be somebody.
A therapist.
Yeah, a therapist. If you want encouragement and belief in yourself, Jamie Kern Lima, who wrote Believe In, she's got another book coming out this month called Worthy. And if you want encouragement, she's a great person to go to. You don't have to see her in person, you don't have to know her. So we can get that from afar as well, and just know who we're giving our microphone to.
Yep.
So there's that.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. So you have a microphone. You get to control the input. You're the one that gets to control that. And just because somebody says something to you doesn't mean you have to listen.
Yes.
Or hear it and take it in. So anyway, just another way to nourish your body and your soul.
Everybody have a good week.
Hey, if you want to help us grow this podcast that we're having fun doing, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Oh, yes.
Please comment. We will comment back.
Yes, we will. Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyandsoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the hosts, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.